Ladies and gentlemen, I just got finished watching A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. And I have to say, man, I have to say, I'm pleasantly surprised. I am pleasantly surprised after watching this show. I came into it not really knowing what to expect, but for sure not expecting all that much. Now, I've heard from a lot of people that I had to watch it, and because I'm getting into the whole A Song of Ice and Fire universe, I need to now watch this after watching House of the Dragons and watching Game of Thrones. But I really went into this not knowing what to expect, and maybe that almost added to the viewing experience because there's not much expectation. When you look at it, it's by far the most simplistic thing that this universe has conjured up for us so far. There's no dragons. There's no, I don't know, like kings fighting each other for the most part. It's the humble story of a knight to be that has very humble aspirations of climbing the ranks and making more of himself than he is. He's followed by his squire. He falls in love with a girl. He befriends the town people. And then ultimately, he has to fight for his honor and for his life against the higher ups. And he ends up winning. I'm sorry, that is just your stereotypical, I don't know, medieval story. And I really liked it. From everything I just said, it sounds like it would be boring or simple, but I think the way it was executed was really, really good. I give a lot of credit to the actors, to the writers. I just found it to be a really enjoyable, short, but sweet season one. Now, to the point that even if they decided not to make a season two after this, which I know they will, I'm pretty happy with where this story leaves off. It starts with, let me introduce you guys to the main character. Of course, I'm sure you guys have seen it. And if you haven't, spoilers ahead, as I always say. It starts with our protagonist, Sir Duncan the Tall, or at this point, I guess just Duncan the Tall. And here's the thing, right? Similar to House of the Dragons, there's a lot of stories that are referenced in the original 8 series Game of Thrones that ultimately end up rearing their head later on in these. And Duncan the Tall was someone that was referenced in Game of Thrones, and I actually remembered his name. Sharky told me to watch this, as he always does with these shows. And when he told me the main character is Duncan, I was like, oh, wait, Sir Duncan the Tall, that was referenced in Game of Thrones. It was actually referenced by Joffrey when he's talking to Jaime, obviously, and belittling him by reading all of the entries for each Kingsguard that there has been. And one of them being Sir Duncan the Tall, who I think he even says something like, 4 pages from Sir Duncan the Tall. He must have been some knight. And that always kind of stuck with me. So when we were introduced to him here, it was like, there he is. But he's introduced in a way that's very humble, and he clearly has no stock in the game yet at this point. He has no body of work per se. He's really coming up from the bottom. They recount his story throughout the show, and we learn that he was just a regular, or not I say regular, a really, really poor kid from Flea Bottom whose life was saved by Arlen, who was a knight before him. And Arlen basically takes him on as his squire and teaches him the ways. And he speaks about Arlen a lot through this show, but we quickly learn that Arlen is kind of a slob. Arlen is not your prototypical knight, but he believes in one thing, and that is honor. And that is something that has clearly been passed on to Dunk. But the show starts with him actually burying Arlen and him going on his own journey, right? To eventually now become his own knight. He's a hedge knight. And along the way, we get introduced to our second protagonist, Egg. Let me say this first and foremost. I don't know the actors' names for this show. I'm sorry. But this kid right here, he deserves every single award and more. His performance as young Aegon Targaryen was so impressive. Honestly, the delivery of the lines, the facial expressions, the acting job in totality is 10 out of 10. This is an incredible performance from such a young kid, and I was honestly so impressed with how good the character was portrayed. So I give him a huge credit, right? Unbelievable. But this character, he makes the show for me. He absolutely makes the show. We meet him at this old tavern that Dunk is staying at to basically spend the night, and this kid claims he's an orphan and just begs Dunk to basically be his squire. He wants to come along for his journey, and Dunk says, no, leave me alone. He follows him anyways. And I think throughout this show, Dunk sees a lot of himself in Aegon. Well, of course, as well, too, because he doesn't know that Aegon ends up being a prince and a future heir to the Iron Throne. He is a Targaryen. His name's not Egg, it's Aegon. But before that, he thinks that, he's just going a similar route to me. And he shares a similar upbringing to what I did. Turns out that while he was chilling in Flea Bottom as a kid, this guy was basically eating the finest food that the Seven Kingdoms had on offer. But he really makes the story, I think, as well, too, and kind of helps Dunk along the way grow into the character that he ends up becoming throughout. We all know that from the start, Dunk is a really loyal, honorable guy. But to go down this route where he becomes more than just a honorable guy, right? He becomes a knight. He becomes someone who takes down a Targaryen prince. He gains the admiration of the people. I think he's a huge player in this story. And again, I thought that he was executed absolutely brilliantly. But truthfully, the story really just recounts Dunk and Egg on this journey. Dunk really to become a recognized knight. And he even starts telling people, well, Arlen was my mentor, basically. Do you know Arlen? Do you know Arlen? No one remembers Arlen until they get to the Targaryen household. And we get introduced to the next character here, Baelor. Baelor Targaryen. Rest in peace, man. Rest in peace. Real one. Baelor Targaryen was an absolute real one. 10 toes down. You meet a lot of these Targaryens, and as Cersei said in Game of Thrones, it's like flipping a coin of a Targaryen. You either get them absolutely batshit crazy, or you get real down-to-earth, humble, honorable ones. We've seen the bad, right? I mean, the bad is the Mad King. The bad is what Daenerys ends up becoming. The bad is Aegon and House of Dragons. But we also see the good. And Baelor definitely represents the good-hearted, honorable Targaryen men. And he is such a good character. It's such a shame that he dies in the final battle. We'll touch on that in a bit. But he is basically the only one that actually tells Dunk, yeah, I do remember Arlen. This is what he did. Like, these are his accomplishments. These are the stories that he told. And he even quizzes Dunk to basically test if he's actually telling the truth. Like, oh, what did Arlen always say? And he basically tests if he's actually Arlen's squire. So from the jump, you can tell that he's a good guy. His brother, on the other hand, Makar, less so. And then Makar's son, Aerion. Ha! This guy is in the mold of the Mad King. He is a little brat, man. And you can tell from the jump, he doesn't like Dunk at all. He thinks that he's way above everybody. And it all kind of boils over when Dunk, who's in love with this girl from the town, right? She's basically like the artist of the town, right? She does like puppet shows and she's creative. She ends up helping him design his shield. He falls for her, right? But in one of her plays, she's basically doing this puppet show, almost demeaning the Targaryens. And Aerion sees it and basically sentences her to death, basically. Like, he captures her, stops the show. When Egg goes and chases Dunk, says, yo, they're about to kill your shorty. He comes through and basically beats the hell up out of Aerion. And Aerion is about to basically screw this guy up because obviously he's so powerful until Egg comes into the shot, says, no, you will not. And they realize there and then that Egg is Aerion's brother. He's actually Aegon Targaryen. And instead of being an orphan, he just ran away from his family. And that's how he ended up being with Dunk. But this all kind of leads into the ultimate big battle of the show. Like I said, it's a very short show. If you haven't watched this, definitely give it a watch. It's 6 episodes or so? Each episode is like 30 minutes. It's not like a 10 episode, hour each long episode season like Game of Thrones was. It's 6 episodes, I believe, 6 or 7, 30 minutes each. It's a very quick watch. But the ultimate battle kind of happens because Aerion is so basically humiliated by basically Dunk not even giving a shit who he was, that he challenges him to a fight. But he doesn't just challenge him to a 1v1 combat, which honestly would be the fair thing to do here. Everyone knows that if you got a problem with someone, I'd say it to my face, we'll meet in the parking lot, whatever, 1v1, winner takes all. That would be the honorable thing to do. But like I said at the start, Aerion ain't like Baelor. He ain't a good-hearted Targaryen. He's not an honorable Targaryen. He says, nah. First and foremost, Dunk is not called Sir Dunk the Tall for no reason. This brother should be in the NBA in a different life, right? If Sir Dunk the Tall was existing in 2026 and not like 26 AD, this dude is the starting power forward for the Charlotte Hornets. That's what this guy is on. He's huge. And Aerion knows, I don't want no problem with him. But what I will do is I'll challenge you to a trial of 7. Now, the trial of 7 involves the accuser versus the accused, but each involves their own party of 6. So there's 7 on one side, 7 on the other side. All out, fight to the death, winner takes it all, or until the accuser or accused gets the other to either yield or they die. So best of luck to both parties. Winner takes it all, gets all the chips. Dunk is now left to scramble and find 6 different people to fight for him. Aryan finds his 6 very, very easily, including one guy that actually betrays Dunk at the last second. He's scum, but it leaves Dunk shorthanded because while Aryan has 6 alongside him, Dunk only now has 5. And you're thinking, uh-oh, there's no way he's going to be able to fight. He's probably going to have to just yield himself, and they're going to kill him there and then. But out of nowhere, you see in the distance, one more horse come to the defense of Sir Dunk. And who is it? None other than Baelor Targaryen. This guy right here, man, this is the GOAT. Honestly, I'm fuming that they killed him off after season 1. This would have been a goated character to have 4 seasons straight. But he shows his true leadership and his real case to one day be the king of the 7 kingdoms by fighting next to Dunk. And he doesn't have to do that, right? He's met Dunk for all of 5 minutes. He could very well reason fighting with his own blood, but his logic is that, well, if you are truly guilty or innocent, let the gods be the one to decide it. And that will be decided by this fight. So Baelor, real one, he makes it 7v7, fair fight, all is good to go, and they go for it. And that's where Dunk goes through this little mini flashback crisis where clearly he's afraid to really fight like this. And from the jump, he gets his eye basically stabbed like within 20 seconds of this entire thing. It looks like within 20 seconds, this dude's just lost the entire fight for his team of 7. And Aegon is basically telling him, get up, get up, get up. And eventually he does. And from there, Dunk gets up, shakes himself up, half blinded, wounded, stabbed about 1,000,000 times, but says, you know what? Allow me to have this dance. 1v1, me versus you, Aryan. You tried running from this the whole time. But at the end of the day, look where it ended up. Back to me. And we got to see the greatest come from behind victory in the history of the universe, second only to LeBron James versus Golden State, 3-1 comeback. But this is the medieval equivalent of LBJ coming back against Golden State. Down 3-1. Chips are down. The whole world's doubting you. He said, allow me to have this dance. Let me pull out my sword and fight you 1v1 combat. And obviously, Aryan, he's got all the gear, but no idea, man. Honestly, look at that. He's got the whole full set. He's got his sword. He's got everything. But at the end of the day, those are all tangibles. What about the intangibles? What about the things that you can't quantify? Heart, determination, loyalty, spirit. Dunk clears him like 20-0. 20-0. And Dunk just absolutely batters Aryan, man. He is basically wounded from top to bottom. He's been destroyed. But he just finds this will to keep getting up and fight him until Aryan has no choice but to effectively tell them, I yield. He says it in front of the entire town, I yield. And Sir Dunk is in that moment cleared. He is able to walk away a free man. He has basically proven to the gods that he is an honorable knight. And it's a really touching moment where Egg is basically, when he's on the ground, begging him, please stand up. He's telling the guy, don't blow the horn, don't blow the final whistle, give a few minutes of extra time just to give him a chance. They give him added time. And honestly, you're talking Solskjaer at the final whistle. That's when he gets up to fight him. It's crazy scenes. It's an amazing final fight. I think it's the best part of the entire show. And from there, we think, okay, we're going to get a happy ending. Until they get back inside. And they realize this dude's back of his head has just been absolutely obliterated, man. I don't know whether he was wearing a helmet that was too tight. I don't know if he's just got an incredible pain threshold. But once he took his helmet off, you just look at the back of his head and that shit is just peeled off. And he didn't even notice it. That's like what you call adrenaline. You know when these athletes be talking about, oh, I had like a broken leg, but I was able to at least run for 30 seconds to recover the ball. That's just pure adrenaline. This guy was operating off adrenaline and vibes, man. It was crazy. And then he dies at the end. And now the guilt and responsibility for Baelor's death is effectively put on Dunk. Even though I think that's a little unfair. If Aryan had just taken Dunk on 1v1, this dude would still be alive. So I blame him. But Dunk gets the majority of the blame. And the show ends with Makar basically saying that, yeah, Dunk, I do blame you, even though I'm going to get some blame as well too. But basically asking him one final time, will you please take Egg as your squire? And Dunk says, nah, I can't do it, man. I cannot do it. I don't want to have that responsibility, that burden on my shoulder. And he walks off. He walks off, he goes on his horse, and he gets ready to ride onto his next journey. Until this kid pulls up one last time to Sir Dunk, tells him, I need to be your squire. I've got my dad's permission. Please let me come with you. And Dunk says, all right, man. As long as you got your dad's permission, whatever. Let's go on to our next journey. Until we realize this little runt never even told his dad he was leaving. So that kind of leads into season 2 now, where Makar has no idea where his kid is. He maybe thinks Dunk captured him, but the whole time he just ran away from home a second time. But honestly, guys, what a terrific show. What a terrific show. I really enjoyed this. And the thing with the Game of Thrones universe is it's really difficult to trust anybody, right? Because even people that you think are good people always have this, I don't know, hidden agenda, or always have this nasty side to them, this ruthless side. Even if you're looking at Daenerys, even if you're looking at Rhaenyra, even if you're looking at, there's many people that you think are good-hearted people, or at least have good attributes, but they still have a nasty, even Jaime Lannister, right? He starts to have a good character arc towards the end. But then you remember, he's still kind of a scumbag. This is like one of the only shows, I think, in the Game of Thrones universe where the protagonist is just a genuinely good dude. Dunk is like your stereotypical knight in shining armor. He's not really in shining armor because he's like a get it out the mud kind of character, but he doesn't have any ambition to steal the throne. He's not in love with his sister. He's not, I don't know, trying to kill people. He's not trying to I don't know, overthrow the current establishment. He's just trying to make a better life of himself. That's really it. And then Egg as well too is just a really nice kid, man. There's no hidden agendas here. Baelor, nice guy. And it was kind of refreshing. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of refreshing. I really enjoyed the show. I would give this show, right, an 8.5 out of 10. It wasn't as good as Game of Thrones, I'm not gonna lie. Was it even as good as House of Dragon Season 1? Maybe not. I think I gave House of the Dragon Season 1 a 9. But it was definitely better than House of the Dragon Season 2, which I think I would have given a 6. So I'm going to give this, I'm going to give it an 8. 8 out of 10. Good show, man. I think it's an easy way as well, too. If you're bored, you got nothing to do on a plane, slap this on. You'll finish it in like 2 hours or so, or maybe a little more than 2 hours, 3 hours. Feel good show, nice story, get attached to the characters as well, too. There you go, man. I'm looking forward to seeing Season 2. I'm looking forward to seeing more adventures with Egg and Dunk. But yeah, man, I give this an 8 out of 10. Let me know what you guys give it down below in the comment section. Now, we need to move to a different universe now because I've done the Game of Thrones. I've done the Game of Thrones universe, and all I can do now is wait till June, July for House of the Dragon Season 3 to come out. But in the meantime, I'm going to have to find something new to watch. And as always, we will put those reactions on this channel because I keep telling you guys, even more Lyes, we do everything but talk about football. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. Like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I'll see you guys for the very next video. Peace.